G'day folks, if you've been following our YouTube channel, you would have seen we bought ourselves a nice new yellow 2020 Supra a couple weeks ago. Now, we haven't done any track driving yet, and we haven't driven on the road a huge amount either, and there's a good reason for that. If you've seen the front of our i30N, it's covered in damage from debris being kicked up. It's especially an issue on the track because you end up with a lot of caked up rubber on the road surface. It flies up, it hits the front of your car, and it can do all sorts of grief to the front of it. So we're going to be taking the car down to our friends at SolarStyle and applying some PPF or paint protection film. And while we're there, we're going to get some window tinting as well. So next stop is SolarStyle, and let's see what they recommend to put on a car that's likely to get some miles on it and is going to need that extra heavy duty protection for track use. All right, I'll see you there. So if you're not familiar with what PPF is, basically it's kind of like a layer of vinyl that goes around the outside of your vehicle. Now this in front of me, this is actually a piece of vinyl because we own a printing company and I stole a little bit of an offcut just to give you an idea on kind of like what it looks like. PPF is much thicker than normal vinyl, much more absorbent property. It's basically made of 3 layers. You've got the adhesive layer here. On the other side is a very stretchy and thick polyurethane layer. So if you get hit by a rock, it can try and protect the paint by absorbing and distributing that load across a larger surface area. Now, the earlier generations of PPF, they were prone to going yellow and discoloring over time. Now, that was due to the fact that they have a porous surface in the polyurethane layer, then it would trap particles, pollen, things like that in it and turning that surface yellow. Now, later versions of PPF have combated this issue by having a 3rd layer over the top, protects it and seals it from those elements. And it also offers what's a pretty cool self-healing property, which we'll show you in the video in a little bit later. You can scratch it up. Magically, the scratches disappear before your eyes. It's pretty cool to see. So with that said, let's get it installed on the car. And here we are, SolarStyle. Let's see if we can track down Shannon. Here's an example of what might happen if you don't get your car wrapped before you take it to the track. There's all of this rubber marks all over it, which is scratched into our paint as well. Now, when we got this car, we didn't have a chance to get it wrapped before we took it out to the track because we were in a bit of a rush. And now that's left us with a lot of damage on the front of this car. So this is something that we're going to try and avoid on the Supra. All this would have been saved if we had have done that right at the start. You can see there's a lot of damage on the front of this from debris on the track and bits of rubber and stones and so on. And that's why you come to a place like this before you take the car to the track, not after.
Hey guys, Shannon from SolarStyle. We've got Mark's new A90 Supra in here for PPF and window tinting. What we normally find is most cars get a lot of frontal damage, so mainly impact zones, so front bar, bonnet, headlights. And if you do go to the track, things like that, we also see a lot of damage down the sides, lower side skirts, sort of just in front of the back wheel and behind the back wheel. Flicking up rocks and rubber from the track and sort of, yeah, any other road debris that you get in your normal day-to-day driving. PPF is a polyurethane film. Now it is applied to the car. It's clear, so it ends up looking like a clear coat. So that is the actual film there. This one looks a bit cloudy at the moment because it hasn't been applied. So essentially, yeah, we just wrap the whole car into every area that we possibly can. It won't wrap absolutely everywhere. It's not as stretchy as vinyl is due to it being a lot thicker. The reason it is thicker is to help stop stone chips and things like that.
While I'm here, I'm also going to be getting the windows tinted, and there's a few different samples up on the wall there. But coolest little displays that I've seen over in the corner here.
Okay, so this is an IR heat display lamp. So it will demonstrate the infrared rays coming through the film and what it blocks out. So because you guys can't actually feel it, we're going to use just a little heat sheet card here, which will change color as the heat comes through. We'll start off with...
And so this is different forms of tint, like different grades of tint?
Yeah, so in Renault Phantom series, they have 3 different lines. So you've got the S5, the S7 and the S9. Basically, they just mean the S5 blocks out 50% of the IR, the S7 blocks out 70%, and the S9 blocks out 90%. So yeah, we'll see the difference between them. So this is no film.
And that basically just shows us that the car would heat up inside.
Yeah, that's showing us how much is coming through. This is the S5.
It just takes a little bit longer.
The S7.
Yeah.
And then the S9. Which I could pretty much hold this here all day.
Well, I think we get the point there. So which one are we putting on my car? I reckon we go with that one.
I think that's an easy decision.
Cool, let's do it.
One of the other cool features with PPF is that it's self-healing. So if you get a scratch or a mark from washing with a little bit of heat, you can make that self-heal and go away. We have already done the A-pillar. We'll be able to demonstrate the actual self-healing property of the film.
So how are you going to demonstrate that?
With a wire brush. The reason we're going to do the A-pillar is because the car is yellow and you probably won't be able to see the scratches. So we'll scratch that up now and then we'll put the heat gun on it and it will go away.
Hopefully. It's actually pretty cool to watch, eh?
Yeah.
I can't believe that actually disappeared. That's pretty amazing to see.
Because the Supra is yellow and we can't see the scratches on there, we've put a sample piece on Mark's SQ5. So we will scratch that up now and then show you the self-healing properties.
Just make sure you get, so where's our sample? It's just from here, right?
It's everywhere.
All right, scratch it up. Draw a dick. I don't know.
Yeah, right. God, I can't draw dicks.
You don't have to draw a dick. Yep. How cool is that to watch? Basically, the whole car is going to be covered in this stuff. And what's actually happening there is that when you scratch it, it's not a scratch as such, it's just rearranging the molecules in the top layer of the PPF. And so what's happening is it's like a memory vinyl, and it just goes back to where it remembers the way that it was made, and then it makes it look all nice and smooth again.
So when we get a car, the first step is a chemical decon on the car and then a clay treatment just to remove any particles, things like that are stuck to the car, and then do a bit of machine correction, just again to make sure it's in the best possible shape that it can be, and we will start the PPF process. On this car, we're going to do the entire vehicle, so headlights, front bar, lower splitter, bonnet, guards, side skirts, mirrors, A-pillar, roof, you name it, we're going to do everything. So that way, Mark being Mark, his car is protected. All these parts are cut to size, so we don't have to trim them, we just literally have to apply them all. So on this car, we'll be using the Opticoat Ultra PPF. It has a hydrophobic coating infused in the top layer, and it has amazing clarity. So it's really nice on the paint, won't make it a little bit distorted or anything like that. And over time, it won't go yellow like some of the other films on the market as well. Now we're going to finish the rest of the car, we're going to wrap the rest. We're also going to put the Opticoat Pro Plus ceramic paint protection over the top of the PPF as well, just to give it a bit more chemical protection. And then it is good for the track.
And there we have it, folks. We've just got our car back from Solar Style. It's been freshly OptiCoat wrapped and ceramic coated. Now they've done everything. The headlights are covered, the bonnet all the way through to the back. The mirrors everywhere, not just the trouble spots, but the whole thing is actually wrapped. But you wouldn't be able to tell unless you got really up close. So if you get real close in here, you can just see there on that edge. You can just see that little line there. That's the only indication that you've got that the vehicle has been wrapped. Now the taillights, everything is covered. So now we're going to be pretty confident that next time we go out to the racetrack, we're not going to be worried about stone chips or rubber or any sort of scuffing. So if we're in car parks, if anyone rubs against it, anyone leans on it. I'm pretty happy now to take this out in public, and I cannot wait to get it out onto the racetrack. We've also got the new window tinting on here as well, which I've actually had this car back for a day, driven it, parked it in the sun, and that extra UV blockage on this window tint's amazing. It's incredible how much difference that makes compared to before, and it looks fantastic as well. So I'm really happy with the tint. Huge thanks to the guys at Solar Style and OptiCoat for the hookup on this car and getting it done so quickly for us. And like I said, super excited to get this thing out on the track now, because now I don't have to worry about getting stone chips unless we cop some really serious size ones. So all right, next stop, Queensland Raceway.